Yay!
Yeah, I'm so excited. Woo!
We are thrilled to have a dear friend, an awesome guy, a cool dude, Alex Raymond from Kapta. We're so excited that you're here, Alex.
Alex,
Awesome. Fantastic to be with both of you. Thank you.
yay. Alex is one of those people that everyone wants to be around and hang out with because he's got this totally grooving vibe, very grounded, just a chill dude. We love that. Runs a business, is super passionate about people being more supportive for their clients and their accounts and connected to their customers in a way that, both from a technological standpoint and a people standpoint is really passionate about supporting them in that. We would love for you to take a couple minutes and tell us about Kapta and kind of who you serve and your ideal clients and all of that kind of stuff. Can you give us the lowdown?
Oh, yeah.
I would be happy to. And so let's think about how hard it is to get a new customer, right? It's a big deal. If you're in a B2B industry, so you're selling to other companies, you're selling to other organizations, it's hard to get a new customer. You got a long sales cycle, you got a whole marketing thing that you're doing for them. There's a lot involved in winning a new customer. And so we know that win rates are not particularly high. It tends to be a tough job, right? Sales is a tough job. But what happens after we land the customer? So we have this fantastic new customer. Let's say they're a big client, $1 million client or something like that. We have this new customer. Then what do we do? How do we make sure that we keep them as a customer? Now, this is really important because typically the profitability of a customer goes up over time, meaning the first year I'm probably not making that much money off of them, but then second year more, third year more, et cetera. And so there's this whole group of unsung heroes in a lot of companies called account managers. And the job of the account manager is to make sure that the customers are getting what they signed up for, they're getting their needs met, they're achieving their goals, and therefore they're going to stick around with us. And so the account managers are like these wizards. They do lots and lots of different things to make sure that the customer's needs are met. And I call them unsung heroes because typically so much recognition goes into the sales team, but so little goes into keeping a customer around. But when you look at the statistics, existing customers are more profitable. They're more likely to be references and advocates to us. They're more likely to adopt our newest products or technologies or whatever we're trying to upsell to them. They're better at giving us feedback. So there's, of course, lots and lots of reasons to keep customers around, not to mention the fact that any typical year, 70 to 80% of your revenue comes from existing customers. So what does this mean for Kapta? Kapta provides solutions that help companies to keep and grow their existing customers. So as an account manager, I need to do lots of things, like I was saying, to make sure that my customer sticks around. And I probably am doing things like spending a lot of time with them, and I need to track all my follow-ups and all the promises I've made to them and stuff like that. I'm also probably interviewing a lot of people inside the company, doing what we might call a voice of customer interview or something like that, to really understand, hey, what's really truly going on for you, Mr. Customer or Madam Customer? Like, what's happening below the surface? So we want a place to store that. They're probably also looking for a place to create kind of a strategy map for their account, to say, where could I go with them, and what are they really trying to do big picture, and how can we support them for the next 5 years or 10 years and so on. And so those are all the activities that an account manager does. And our company, Kapta, that's Kapta, we provide a software platform that allows people to do that very easily. And then on top of that, we provide all these training and services to make sure that I can do it well. So it's not just the platform itself, it's some of the other things to make sure that I'm actually doing what I need to do to make sure that my customers are sticking around. So that's Kapta.
I love it. I've got a couple things I want to say to that. The first is, I think some of the latest data is that it is 5 times more expensive to try to get a new client than it is to retain the ones that you have. And you're so right. So much of focus and attention goes towards sales when we really need to be looking at how are we keeping our customers happy and supported. And so thank you so much for talking about that, because it's a passion of ours as well. And I agree, they're unsung heroes. The other thing I was going to say that kind of sparked it for me is I love your business, and I've seen your platform and your product. And what I love most about it is there's a lot of technology out there that companies can grab. They might have sexy, really well-known names that people are using. And what I love about you and what you're doing with your business is you're taking it so many steps further. You're offering beautiful, fabulous webinars online where you're bringing in all these different experts to share their expertise and their tips and their tricks. And this is just free, that you're giving it to everybody. You're providing so much value there. Two, you've created your own kind of really cool Kapta offering. And remind me of the name of your program that you've offered for the managers.
We have an online program that's called KamGenius, and that's an
Yes.
online training platform. Yeah.
Yes. And that's number 2, KamGenius. So it's you go beyond just, hey, we just want your business, here's some technology. And then the third thing is you host this really awesome conference every year where you bring in, it's super intimate and unique and fun. Yeah, we've been a part of it, and we are again, and we're really excited.
For the
Yes,
last
indeed.
40 years. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes,
And
yes.
it's so fantastic. And I will tell you, we've been to a lot of conferences. I have never had an experience like yours where you bring in somebody who, is doing chair yoga or something really unique, or drums or something like that. Conversations are intimate, they're fun, they're meaningful, and everyone that walks away says, I have 5 things I can do right now to improve my relationships.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say thank you. I was a key account manager, Alex. I think you may know that. I ran a division of key account folks, and I wish I had your software, because that would have made my job much easier. If you don't have something like that, the way we were solving it was in OneNote, which is not a great way to do it. We were
Yes.
just we needed to track conversations. We needed to track the information that was being gathered, the various different constituents, customers that were a part of it, and we needed a place. It was not ideal in OneNote.
Tell us a little bit about I think your conference is coming up in April, called KamCon 2024. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So KamCon's really a gathering space for people who are in account management, customer engagement, and customer success roles. And we bring everyone together in Boulder, Colorado. It's happening this year on April 24 and 25, so fairly soon. And it's really meant to help elevate the entire discussion around what are we doing for our customers? What do we do? How are we making sure that we're delivering on results, delivering on value that the customers are expecting? And so, we've all been to lots of conferences where there's too many speakers and it's boring speakers and they have too long and they're up there, it's everybody's tuned out, which really try to do the opposite. And that's important this year. The reason it's important this year is this is such a tough year for account managers. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's a tough year for pretty much anyone in business. But we all thought that 2023 was rough. 2024 is not off to a great start. And so what's happening is account managers are being told, hey, you got to do more with less, right? So maybe their team is getting cut or downsized. Maybe their portfolio of customers is growing. They have fewer resources for learning and development and so on. So there's just there's general do more with less sort of mentality. At the same time, their goals haven't changed, their quotas haven't changed, and so they're sitting there saying, how do I make head to tails of this? How do I actually make an impact in 2024? Because my customers, right? So again, an account manager would say, my customers are also being told to do more with less, and they're also running around like chickens with their head cut off, and nobody wants to meet with me. So it's real challenges. What that means for KamCon is, instead of just really generic, best practices and do this and do that, we're skipping all that. We're dispensing with that. In fact, the theme of this year's meeting is beyond best practices. So keep in mind that best practices are what your competitors were doing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So since we don't want to be behaving like our competitors 5 years ago, we need to be looking forward, and we need to look into the future, and we need to be getting tools and resources that we can put into use today. And so that's what we're doing at KamCon, April 24, 25 in Boulder. You're both going to be there. We love it because everyone really appreciates your energy, your creativity, your inspiration, and the frames that you bring to these meetings. So I'm really looking forward to having you there.
We'll slip you a 20 later. So, Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
So let me ask you this question, Alex. As you look at, the challenges that key account managers, that strategic, account managers have, what are the soft skills? What are the skills that they're really missing, or that you would like to see them up level as a whole that would make them better at their job?
So there's two sort of surface level ones, right? Number one is they need to be more strategic, and number two is they need to be more proactive. Okay. But what does that actually mean? I would say one of the things that's most important for an account manager is to have curiosity. And curiosity meaning, can we actually understand what our customer is really trying to do? Like, get beyond the headlines, get beyond the bullet points, because the closer I can get to what they're really trying to achieve, the better I can make sure that my product or service is actually going to help them, that we're rallying behind them, and that they're meeting their goals. And so if I'm curious about them, I can ask those extra questions. I can spend time really digging into it. And when I do that, that's where all the value is. That's where all the magic is as an account manager. So a lot of times when people are told, be strategic, be proactive, they sort of say, well, like what? Like, in what way am I not doing that today? And so I think the frame of curiosity is more powerful. So this way we can say to people, go find out even more, right? Spend more time. Let's have another call with a new person, for example, at the customer. Let's ask a different set of questions. And let's actually then just zip it and listen to them and hear what they say, right? I mean, we're in this age where everybody wants AI to do everything. Everything is digital, automated, at scale, big data, big this, big that. And so much of what we're talking about for our $1 million accounts is based on personal interaction. Do they like me, right?
Yeah.
Do we get along? Do they respect me? Do I have credibility, etc.? If I'm curious, then I can spend extra time building that relationship, showing value, building credibility, learning more about them. That's going to make me wildly more effective than if I, pretend to automate all this or outsource it or digitize it or whatever it is.
I can't tell you how awesome it is to hear that. I think the greatest gift you can give a customer is to create space and time for them to share with you, and for you to be genuinely interested in what it will take to help solve some of their pain points. And, quite frankly, sometimes we're so busy trying to, solve the thing that we're not really staying curious. We're so solution focused, and we're so selling focused, that we forget that this is a human on the other end of the phone, just like you, being asked to do more with less. And they really haven't had a lot of quality opportunities to share what they need and how they need it. So I love that.
And this is the kind of thing where, if you spend some time doing this at the beginning, let's say it's a 30-minute phone call, it's some extra time at the beginning, but it saves you tons of time later on because you've done it and you've had that conversation and you've let them express what it is that they need to express. If we just jump straight into doing, then we may not get the color and the richness in the conversation.
What, in your I'm going to give you an option for answering one question or another. The first would be like, what piece of advice might you give, someone, moving into a leadership role or even a key account role right now that you think would be valuable in today's world? I mean, you just talked about curiosity, so that might be kind of an easy answer. There might be
you can't
else.
Answer that.
So there might be something else.
Nope.
Or what piece of advice has been given to you as a leader of an organization when you think back that has made you more successful?
And I'm going to give you on the hot seat. I would like answers to both of those questions.
Son of a nutcracker, here it comes. He's kind of demanding.
There we go. Well, what if I told you that the answer to both of these is actually the same statement?
Ooh, go on.
And in both cases, it involves how we're orienting our thinking. And so, one of the things that really landed for me that I share, not only in, with Kapta, but also with other entrepreneurs. So I talk a lot to other entrepreneurs, people who are building businesses. And this is equally true for people in account management or customer facing roles. The secret I'm going to share is from a guy named Steve Blank, who's a Stanford professor, or maybe was a Stanford. I don't know if he's still there or not, but he wrote a book called The 4 Steps to the Epiphany, and he created this whole concept around customer discovery and customer development. And the piece of advice, or the kind of gem within there, is there are no answers inside of our building. Meaning the answers aren't in this meeting room, they aren't on this Zoom call, they aren't on this conversation. The answers are outside. And we've got to go talk to customers, meet executives, understand what's really happening, and really be thoughtful about how we're gathering up that information. And so the way that this applies to an account manager is, hey, maybe I get stuck and spend all my time on internal forecast meetings, or I'm spending all my time working with the product team or the service team on something, and therefore I get really internally focused. Much better for me to be in constant communication with my customer, much better to be spending time with them, to be learning and to be sharing. So just FaceTime, it doesn't have to be FaceTime, of course, in 2024, but time with people, time with customers is going to be really important. The way this works as we run Kapta is we might have an idea for a product. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if it did X, Y, Z? Or wouldn't it be cool if we did this thing? Sounds great to us, but we're small. We're a small company and we don't have all the answers. So why not instead say, well, the answers aren't inside the building. Let's go ask other people. And so, for example, we just went through an exercise where we were looking at a number of different things within the product, and we wanted to see what's more important or less important to different users. And so we set up 25 discovery calls with non-Kapta customers, other people, over the course of 3 weeks, to make sure that we were getting their input. Like, hey, what's actually happening? What does the world really look like to you? And this all kind of leads back to that famous adage that was attributed to Jack Welch, I believe, that the person who gets closer to reality wins, or the company that gets closer to reality wins. We can double check if I got that exactly right. But, the point being is we don't want to be operating on hypotheses or assumptions. We want to get as close to reality as we can.
I love that. I love that you're thinking that way as a leader. I think that the leaders of businesses right now that are staying curious themselves and wanting to extend beyond what they believe to be true to more of that scientific minded approach is so great. And it makes me think of the book Think Again by Adam Grant, because it's so much about, let's not just sit in what we know. Let's continue to grow and learn and evolve. So I love that.
All right, Alex, one final question. No pressure.
Oh my gosh, this was like a game show.
Yes. So the question is, knowing that there's a whole host of things that are around in the world that are going not great, what is one thing for you that is going really well? It can be you're looking forward to something in the future, that there's something going on in your personal life that you're really excited about. Just give us one bright moment.
Inspiring you.
Okay. I mean, just on a purely personal note, I'll share that one of the things I've actually been making me really happy lately is the post-pandemic reconnection with friends who I haven't seen in a really long time. And so everyone was in bunker mentality, like hunkered down. We all know this. And it's been so nice, especially where we live in Colorado, because people like to come skiing and they bring their families out to go hit the slopes and stuff like that. So I really, really enjoyed that. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that in my life. I came across a framework recently that I'll share with you that's kind of interesting, and then you'll see why I'm talking about this. It's called the U-curve of happiness. And the U-curve of happiness basically tracks life satisfaction over the course of your life. So how happy are you? How satisfied are you with your life? And it has a very distinct shape. It's shaped like a U, meaning you have high life satisfaction when you're younger, then it starts to dip, and then later in life it goes back up. And turns out that the absolute bottom of the U curve is the age I was when I found out about this phenomenon. So it's 47. So I'm now 48. Last year I was 47, and I was at a conference where someone was presenting this, and I was like, oh, that's why I feel like I do, because I'm at the bottom of my life satisfaction. But it turned well, so it turns out that now I've got a lot of great things to look forward to, right? So now that I'm 48, but part of it is research shows, why does the happiness score, then go up afterwards? And the major determinant of life satisfaction at age 80 is how committed you are to your social and personal relationships at age 50.
Ooh.
Wow.
Therefore, this is the time for me to spend investing in these relationships, rekindling friendships, connecting with people, and stuff like that. So this is all part of my strategy to like make sure I'm hitting the slope of that happiness curve later on.
Well, what that means, Alex, is that when we are in Boulder together on April 24th and 25th for KamCon 2024, we got to find a way to just go have a beer or grab a drink or do something nice, just the three of us.
Yes, let's do that.
I
And
love it.
let's go make sure that Gail practices her bowling.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to do that. We're going to do bowling again.
Oh, yeah.
You're great at it. Yeah,
I love it.
You're great at it. You're great at it.
Oh, you've been amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us today and just sharing your wisdom, your kind of openness in terms of just leadership and what's in store for folks at KamCon 2024, which is exciting. And again, just being your all around awesome self.
There you go. That's right. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much. Thank you both. Really appreciate being here.